versus Almabayev in the main event, picking Manel Kape to win by decision. He's more proven against better fighters, and Basu is coming in on short notice, so that's not going to help him. I definitely see this fight going to decision, even though it's a 5-round fight. Basu is known to get tired, especially during the third round. Next fight, Cody Brundage versus Julian Marquez. I'm going with Cody Brundage by decision. This is a previous training partner of his, so I think he'll be more comfortable in there. Won't be as nervous, which is something he struggled with in the past. So, though it's not good to go in a fight with no nerves, I think in this case it'll benefit Cody Brundage. I also see this going to decision, and Cody definitely has the better cardio, while Julian is known to gas out. Next fight, Nasrat Haqparast versus Esteban Ribovics. I'm going with Nasrat. I think Nasrat, I know Nasrat has gone against the better competition, so that should benefit him in this fight, and he should be able to avoid the big power from Esteban and avoid getting knocked out early, and he should be able to drag this fight out until the timer runs out and win by decision. Esteban is good and has power, but we've seen him taken down before. I believe it was by this dude Loic Radzhabov. I think Nasrat could also do that. And his win against Daniel Zellhuber was good, but that's a newbie. And we all know what Terrence McKinney's like. He's only good against cans. Next, William Gomez versus Hyder. Hyder is very good, and he can get a little crazy and just go balls to the wall, throwing power, throwing a flurry of punches. But that William Gomez should be able to work around that, and if Hyder does crash in, Gomez should be able to lock him up in a clinch, maybe even take him down. And aside from that, he should be able to use his range and pick him apart. Next fight, Danny Barlow versus Sam Patterson. Definitely going with Danny Barlow. It's going to be interesting because the first fight we're going to see from Danny Barlow competing against someone who's taller than him. But I think his strikes are more powerful than Sam, and I see Danny landing a KO blow at some point. And even if he doesn't, he'll probably win a decision. I don't see Sam Patterson being able to take him down and locking up a submission. Next, Austin Lane versus Mario Pinto. I'm going with Austin Lane. Mario Pinto is another newbie. We haven't seen enough from him. Although a lot of people are fading Austin Lane. He's kind of been through the ringer and he's fought people with KO power. And I think he's learned his lessons and is going to be smart enough to take this fight to the ground, which he did against Rubelas de Spain, another power puncher, and I think he's going to do the same thing in this fight. Next, Ricardo Ramos versus Chepe Mariscal. I'm going Chepe Mariscal. He's on a big win streak. He has the momentum coming into this fight. I think he's just the tougher fighter, the bigger dog. I don't remember exactly what I didn't like from Ricardo Ramos when I was watching tape. I just got the impression that he was not going to have what it takes to defeat Chepe. Douglas Silva de Andrade versus John Castaneda. I'm going with Castaneda by decision. He's the younger fighter, and it's been a long night. I also don't remember my reasoning for this, but I did watch some tape, and I got the impression that John Castaneda was the better fighter. Lucas Almeida versus Danny Silva. Going with Danny Silva to win by decision. I don't like that Lucas Almeida lost to Andre Fili. His win against Kwamba was fun to watch, but Danny Silva, I think, is a little quicker and a little tougher, and he's pretty light on his feet. So I think he's going to be able to outwork Lucas Almeida and actually return fire, which Timmy Kwamba wasn't able to do to Almeida. And then first women's fight on the card. Look at this record. If Andrea Lee wins this fight, I'll slap myself. I'm gonna go with JJ Aldridge by decision. Charles Johnson versus Ramazan Kamarov. This one does feel a little bit tricky. Charles Johnson is on a resurgence and is riding a nice win streak, and so is obviously Ramazan, but not in the UFC. He only has one win in the UFC, and his KO against CJ Vergara was impressive, but I think Charles Johnson is experienced enough to, though he is chinny at times, he does stay composed even if he gets rocked. And in general, he has good movement on the feet to get away from the strikes from his opponents. He has good head movement. So I'm gonna give, and he has the height and the reach advantage in this fight. So I'm gonna side with him, and I see him winning this fight, probably by decision. In the last fight, Montana De La Rosa versus Luana Carolina. I did kind of ping pong back and forth. My initial thought was Montana, and then I switched to Luana. But I'm just gonna go with my initial instinct and go with Montana De La Rosa. Seems to me that she's fought the better competition. Even there's 3 losses in a row over here were against good competition. She has good wins before this losing streak right here in the middle. And if she goes to her game plan, which should be to take down Luana Carolina, then she should win this fight. But if this fight ends up on the feet, she's gonna get rocked. She can get messed up. But I don't see why she wouldn't be able to take Luana down. So we'll see. Last week I got 9 out of 12 fights correct. So let's go obviously for a perfect card, but at the very least, see if I can do better than 9 out of 12.